Hi guys, this is Mo Elias from New York. Hope all you're all well. Today we have Bob Phibbs, the retail doctor, with us, and we have Betsy from Portland, Texas, and we're going to do a little virtual store makeover with the guidance from Bob. Bob told me to give everybody a warning. He's going to be a little rough, but he's going to be frank, so everybody be prepared. And let's get this going. Bob, how are you?
I'm doing well. So before we go, let's ask people to comment right now if you're watching this live. What the hell do you want to learn? Why are you watching this today? What do you want to learn from this? Type it in right now. Stop texting. Just type in one thing. What are you hoping to learn from watching us do this? And if you're watching on the replay, you can still type. So do that. All right.
And you all can find Bob at the Retail Doc. I put that on the screen and check out his stuff. I'm a big fan of his, and I watch all his question stuff that he does on the weekends, which are great. All right, so Betsy, tell us about your town in short, brief, and then I'm going to start with the virtual turnover, with makeover.
Okay, well, we are Bowman Design and Framing. The business was started 41 years ago by Dinah Bowman. I've been working with her for about 3.5 years now. It has always been a combination gallery and frame shop. And our long-term plan is that as Dinah approaches retirement, I will eventually be taking over the business. I'm trying to put more emphasis onto the framing, but we still have all of the gallery services. We are her primary gallery, but we also represent about 6 to 7 other local artists. And with that, we also supply artwork to other places in the area. So we have a constant turnover of display inventory in here, as well as trying to show off what's available for the framing.
Also, let's just stop right there. So is this on consignment or are you buying this?
We are representing on consignment.
Okay. So how much of what we're going to see in your store today is actually purchased materials?
Very little.
Okay.
We've got smaller items that are on the shelves that are purchased items. We've got some artwork that we may have bought as a closeout from another gallery in the area, small prints. But other than that, most of what we have hanging on the walls is either Dinah's personal work or work by other artists that we have here on consignment.
Okay.
And we
have a video.
And we specifically focus, because of where we're located on the Texas coast, we have an emphasis and a focus on the coastal art. And so that can include the wildlife and fishing art. Dinah's personal artwork, she's known for her fish prints, her gyutaku. And so that's where our focus tends to be.
Perfect.
And I got one more question, Mo. Sorry. Yeah. What's your average sale when you sell something? I want to know art, and then I want to know what as far as a frame order. And don't say it varies.
I was going to say our lower end items, we're probably looking at $100 to $200 for framing as well as for art. Our upper end items, and right now it is, I know you said you don't like to say it's across the board, but we're hitting two ends of the spectrum right now. Some of Dinah's commissions lately, we're doing framing and art combined for $2,000 to $3,000 or more.
But a commission doesn't need a store. So I'm talking about actual. I'm going to look at this as a store. You are like Gap. You're a store. That's what I'm looking at. Not you're here to sell merchandise. That's. Right. I don't know if I'd say that's my gift, but that's kind of what my focus is.
So right now, what's selling for smaller items, probably $100 to $200. Not as much of that lately. What we're getting more of is going to be the $300 to $500, and then the $15,000 to $2,000.
So your first part is you should know your numbers. So you don't go by what you think. You would actually have a POS. You would know. It would tell you. Like last month, our average transaction is $65, $85, whatever it is. You need to know that number. All right, Mo, I'm going to shut the hell up so that you can talk.
One more thing, Bob. Most shops that do gallery and framing, 80% of their shop actually revenue is from the framing. Is that true for you, Betsy?
It's about half and half, and it varies on the.
Okay. All right. So we have the video here. I'm going to show you first the exterior. Bob, go ahead. I lost sound.
Me go ahead? What do you mean? Are you going to show the video or what?
Well, the video is 5 minutes long. Do you want to see the whole entire video?
Well, you got to at least. I thought you were going to just show us a little of the outside. All right, let's start with the outside.
Yeah.
So I apologize. So no, just go all the way back to the beginning.
Oh, go to the beginning. Okay, so
you're just going to hold
Hi,
it there.
this is Betsy with
Oh,
Moment Design and Framing,
Yeah.
and this is my video.
Wherever you had the
submission.
outside, you had the
Oh,
picture
yeah,
of the
okay,
outside.
okay, hold on. 301.
Clearly, we have worked on this, folks at home. We have spent hours and hours. Anderson Cooper was helping both of us to know exactly the right words to say at all times.
But it's fun to be the first one out.
There you go. So again, my goal is to help, not hurt. When I saw this originally, I thought this was a taco stand. So if you'll just pause on this, go back if you would.
Uh-huh.
I just hold on that. Yeah, just stop there.
Yep.
I totally get beach from this. I totally get you're from either Florida or the Texas coast. I totally get it. I don't get that this is a place I would go to frame anything. That's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I think you've got it written on those concrete barriers out there what you carry. Is that correct?
Yes, the subject matter of the art is out on those, and we really need to repaint and refresh those. And so I don't know if that's an appropriate place to be putting anything advertising wise, not.
Yeah, probably not so much. And how fast are people going down that street?
35.
That's the reason we painted on the side of the piers, because they're zooming past the building.
And this shot is taken from the stop sign across the street.
Yeah, but why are they there? Are you afraid someone's going to ram into your building again like it happened before?
Actually, yes, because this is the historic district of town, and that's where the highway turned. And so those were put in to prevent the big cotton trucks from taking out the building if they failed to make the turn. So this building's been here since 1910.
One could say, one time is not exactly forever. So consider that. I just don't think they look, it diminishes the building is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm unclear what we're looking at. I'm unclear. And especially, I guess your point is that I'm driving up and I'm stopped. Is that correct? And I look over at this kind of beachy hut thing, and you think I'm actually reading that. Is that correct?
I think that I was not here when those were painted on. I think it was to catch the cross traffic and not necessarily the oncoming traffic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like a going concern. It looks like you took a house and kind of did something with it. So my concerns are those 4 barriers. There's plenty of other ways to do it in 2021. It would seem to me, you're telling me I'm at a stop sign and I'm looking at this building. Is that correct?
Yes.
So why are there no windows on this building? Is that was that in the video that you were looking at redoing the front? Is that what I saw?
The windows that are on the left side of the building were the ones that were just replaced. So
But why didn't you put them on this side?
Okay, what the evolution of the building, originally when in 1910, it had the front doors on the front and 2 windows on the front.
Mm-hmm.
When VFW took over and redid the building, they eliminated that and they put the false front on.
And the false front's been there since the 60s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but that doesn't make it right. So my concern is I'm not going to look at any of those windows on the left. Those are not going to attract me in. I'm not going to be looking again. Think of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get somewhere. I want to go to the right or I want to go to the left, I guess. So your biggest, boldest move you could do would be to reinstate the front windows and to make this look like a going concern. The design, the font it's hard to read. I don't know what I'm reading. Again, it looks like it kind of looks like a taco or a fast food kind of a thing. And I appreciate you've got some frames around the outside. I would do that 3 times as big. Get some foam core, paint it. We're not talking money here. But it really needs to jump out. This is a frame store. I'm concerned when Mo tells me 80% of framers make their money off of framing, and you're like, well, we're half and half. Well, then it sounds like the place we really need to juice that would be, how do we get more people to do framing with us? And I would think the signage on the top would be something I would be concerned about. Also, all those words under the frame on the left. I'm just not. All this to say is, as someone who doesn't know you, who doesn't live in the area or anything, I don't know that I would care to figure out what this is. That's the point. Whereas if the windows were in place and you could make a display of something, you know, and your sign would just be, yeah, what would it be?
Bob, I saw somebody send me a picture of their store that had this big sign that said, "We print, we frame," and it was huge.
That's kind of the idea. It's just a simple, especially if I can mow in 35 miles an hour. It's got to be easy. I would also consider get yourself some repave whatever that's going on in that parking lot, because it looks to me like it's a house. I don't know if that's somebody's truck, but it doesn't look like a going concern. As a business, this is all I care about as a business. So, you know, is it Bowman Design and Framing? What is design? Is it a gallery or is it a design house?
It's a gallery.
So wouldn't Bowman Fine Art and Framing Studio make better sense? That's just something to consider. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you my armchair. I got 15 minutes or so to be able to chat with you, but I would encourage that. And those windows, I would encourage to get back and have them very well lit from the inside at night and tell one story and make it easy for us to understand. Get your memories framed here. And then on the other one, you're going to have, Dinah's, fish sculptures or something, and it's going to be lit really well, and you're going to have like blue lights around it, and we're going to see like, oh, we get the idea. This is fine art. That would at least get me to wonder, because here's the problem. I don't wonder what's going on in this building. It's forgettable. You have great art. You've got great things to share. I think you have great services, but in 2021, you've got to appeal to somebody who is casually going there and being curious, because they have to remember you after a while and go like, oh yeah, there was that frame play. I can't say that today. That was that framing place back there. And I need to get it quickly. And I like that idea, Mo, of, print and frame here, but you've also got this kind of conflicted personality, because you're a gallery and a frame shop. So maybe on the outside, you're making it clear you're like Reese's Pieces, you're chocolate and peanut butter, so that we get it quickly and it's unified. Mo, what do you have to add?
Well, I was thinking buy art, buy frames here. Just big, cover the whole sign, and then put Bowman's as small. I don't know if Bowman's is a brand that people recognize, but people recognize frames. People recognize art. I was thinking more emphasize on the product, and then when they come in, they get to know what Bowman's is.
In this area, from the people who are in the art community here, Bowman is a very recognizable name. But I'm also looking at this from the perspective of, we know that Dinah's going to be retiring out of the industry. I don't know how recognizable her name will be, other than the people who have been longtime collectors.
So you're going to be are you going to keep her artwork there?
That's the plan, is to keep her artwork here.
So realistically, whether she retires or not, it's still going to be the same.
For a period of time, yes.
Okay. All right, good.
Now, how do you think about the colors? Now, I'm from New York. Everything is very modern, very clean. What do you think of the colors, Bob?
Well, it's that, rainbow sherbet kind of a look, which says South Texas. So I'll give you that. But it doesn't focus our eyes. If I was to go crazy, it's hard to tell. Is that shiplap? Are they are they on top of each other, or is it just the way the wood is set?
No, that's, it's overlapped on that false front part. And then
It is
the
over.
and then the sides of the building are original wood,
Or the wood siding.
yeah, original wood siding.
Yeah. Well, if that was something, if you were in downtown like Alexandria or Annapolis, that would be great. But I don't know that that necessarily adds value to your customers. That's my concern. Before we go inside, this is just the way I would do it. I would go through and I would paint that top probably a bright red. I mean, bright red. Boy, they're not going to like that in downtown. Let's just say it doesn't matter. Let's say we do it in black.
Black. I like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do black either. Let's say gray. I know where I'm going. But anyway, I would put a giant border around that whole thing in foam core, and I would make that thing 3 or 4 feet so it would stand out, and I would light it with LEDs underneath it so that you would have this big glowing, like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then it would say, art gallery and frame supply or framing, or even if you go with Bowman, just don't use the cursive and then your URL up there, realistically, do you think I'm at the street corner and I'm like typing it into my phone, like www. We're not doing that. So use that space to say, get your art and frames here even, and put the name on the door. If you're not going to get rid of the windows, but really set it off in such a way, and then paint that end cap to be just gray or whatever, so that we focus on if you do gray and you do whatever the trim is going to be, whether it's gold or I don't care, it's tutti frutti. But it's lit from underneath. That's not a lot of money. You can go down to Home Depot, Lowe's, get LEDs to go underneath it, get enough that it glows at night. And then during the day on those, there have got to be a few days that aren't sunny for it to really step off. And if you had the budget, I'd say, yeah, do channel letters on the name, and that would stand off better too. But you really have to get our attention that it's different here and make me curious. Those of you who are watching live, what do you think? Should I shut the hell up or you support it? Type in. What do you think? Are you with me? Or are you against me? Come on, type in there, David. You're there. Fine line, workshop gallery. We aren't asking Dinah and Betsy what they think. We're just going on. So we are going to ask you,
one more opinion.
what do you think, Betsy and Dinah? Before we get to Mo, what do you think?
Guys,
Does that sound good?
I think we need a change on the front.
Definitely.
We're kind of still trying to get rid of the remnants of a previous manager who made bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So
that billboard on that false front is incredible because you can see it 5 blocks away coming down the road. And so you're saying paint it gray so it kind of blends with the color of the existing roof. What would be the lettering then? Would you do it in white?
I'd have to play with this because just like somebody said, facades can be tricky.
Yes.
However, take ego out of it. What I want you to do is make it simple. It's like great websites. Keep it simple. What the hell do you want me to do? In this, it's like, I guess buy ice cream and bows and arrows. I don't know. And I'm being facetious a little bit, but clearly you haven't really focused my attention. And that's what I encourage all of you frame shops to do. I so hate people who put 1 million frames in your windows and like, oh, isn't that creative? You're like, dude, that just looks like a lot of work. But if you got me to say, the cheap somehow, reframing is the cheapest way to redecorate your house. Wow. What really? And then I'm curious, like, wow. So a window, that makes sense. We aren't into the windows yet. We just got to make one statement, one color. And again, it's easy enough in 2021, play around with it. Have somebody on Photoshop, do it, just overlay it with, we'll go to a whole black. Yeah, I wouldn't do black, is terrible. But let's say a royal blue might be really classy. Maybe if you had channel letters, that's going to be, $3 to $5 grand. So you may say, well, we can't do that. But paint doesn't say successful. It doesn't say high-end art gallery. It says craft store. It sounds like we're gonna paint our own pottery or something. And bohemian is fine, and we need to move indoors because we've been going on about this. I'm okay with wrapping. Somebody said, I wish you had a name, Workshop Gallery.
That's Julie Walsh.
Oh, Julie. Wrapping it with a graphic, what are you going to put on it? Because just wrapping a building like a bus just adds more confusion. I want you to understand where it is. And the other reason I don't like this, Mo, this is going to be way too long. I told you I was going to be short, but
That's fine.
Your entrance with the fallen down roof over it. I don't even know where the hell I'm supposed to enter this building, because it looks like the entrance is where you've got this white manatee or nude or whatever it is in the middle under Bowman, and then it's got this falling down. And I know it's not falling down, but notice once I point your eyes at it, it does kind of look fallen down, which is to protect you from the rains and monsoon. I get all that, but it's not 1921, kids. It's 2021. Your guy is shopping at Abercrombie. They're shopping at RH. They're shopping online for Wayfair. They're used to feeling something a little bit more. So I think, and also I'd get that tree cut back. I don't mind the tree, but again, if that's where you're having to park your truck, then have them oil the dirt and put lines on it, so at least looks like a commercial place.
Yeah, I was going to say that the parking. I go to this bagel shop and their parking always looks like this. And the other day they fixed it up, they painted it. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go in. It grabbed my attention. They had lines, parking spots. I don't think it's an expense, right? It's not a big expense to paint the line.
And if you really want to go Bob Phibbs crazy, I would, and this is totally crazy, and I totally get it, I would paint a nice red arrow from the front. Do you own the building? I'm sure they do. Yeah. I would paint that driveway red, and I would have a big arrow that would lead me to that front door if I had to do it.
I like that. See, that would get my attention when I'm driving.
It wouldn't have to be red. It could be, you could be the yellow brick road. You could kind of play around with that, make the room, but not garish. It'd have to be cool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We're talking to the city about actually painting the road.
Doing a public art project on that intersection to paint the asphalt.
Yes.
Well, you could do that. I'm saying, but on your own, I mean, you're not going to paint the road out in front of you, and yours is going to look like that, I hope. I mean, get a fresh coat of stones and make it look nice, because that's where I'm struck. Is this looks like it's somebody's house? It looks like it's a place I'm going to buy Tutti Frutti ice cream or stuff for kids. It does not say inside I'm going to get $1,000. And worst, I don't get the sense that this is a place that does fine art framing.
Yeah.
So Facebook users, are you with me so far? Give me a 1 to 5. 5 is great ideas. 1 is you suck. Try again. Give me a 5 or whatever. So let's go a little further, Mo. Do you have anything to add? And then let's go inside and see this place.
I'm good. I'm liking the yellow door, to be honest. I don't know what your opinion is when she gets closer there.
Oh, you mean once it looks like the building's not falling down? And yeah. 4.5. Thank you, Facebook user. Oh, I got a 5. Thank you, another Facebook user. Who are these phantom people? I've never seen Facebook user, but all right. All right, so let's stop there. Go back.
Yep.
Okay. So I walk in the door. Is this what you want me to look at? If you're a customer, are you familiar with feng shui at all, Betsy, Dinah? Are you familiar with feng shui?
A little, yes.
Do you know the number one thing you should never walk into a room to is a table or anything that stops you?
Oh.
It's not, and you're not encouraging me to come into this space. It's a workspace. And I would encourage you to think, move that counter off, probably to the left, possibly to the right. Depends, that's where your windows theoretically should be. So that might not work. I do like that you've got the frame set up. I do like that that's it, but it doesn't belong there. Do you know what should be there right now, Dinah? When I walk in that door?
Tell me. I've been
You are so you are so chicken. Jeez. You should have your fish art.
Oh.
That's what I should be seeing as I walk in. You've got a port window like I'm walking into somebody's tugboat and aye, matey kind of thing. And it's like, oh, and now I'm going to consider your best and brightest at different levels. Now, is that your product there right where Mo has stopped us? Are those 3 little sculptures or something?
Those are one of the artists that we carry.
So why are they all on the same plane?
I've got them scattered around in different locations.
Don't scatter them around. Make a
Okay.
statement. Make a
Okay.
statement. Jane Smith loves fish. I don't care. She, whatever. But the reason why this doesn't work, Facebook friends, is what? I don't know what the hell you want me to look at. I am distracted. First off, you have all of these frames that all point up to the ceiling because that's what you've done with my eyes. I'm looking up, and then I see some. And again, I know I'm coming off like a really Mack truck, and that's not my. I just want to get you so energized to say we'll show him that in a month or a year you're going to be energized to try some of these. But what the hell is that success print from the 70s doing on the top on the right there with the is that museum glass?
That's the museum glass.
Yeah. It doesn't belong there. It just looks like you threw it up there because we said no one will notice, and you're right. So why is it up there? Put it underneath the counter, and when you get ready to talk about museum glass, then show it. But you have this conglomeration of prints. You've got things hanging from the ceiling. The colors don't really go together. The styles don't go together. And it's like somebody just threw up art on a wall. So why does this matter? Because the art doesn't look special like it deserves to. That's what matters. Oh, Mo, did I just leave you? Or
I thought you were going to give us a little speech there.
no? I can, but I was just, holy crap, I'm on. The art doesn't look special, and I can tell you. All right, now you can give me the whole thing. Just turn everybody else off. So if you're going to give me the spotlight, at least give it to me, dude.
There you go.
So. The important thing to remember is if you're going to carry art, then have the decency to think about the artist who made it and all the hours they did to learn that craft and then what it took for them to have that. And then say, all right, my number one goal if I'm carrying art is how do I elevate it to a way that someone will consider buying this art, which no one is online searching. And God forbid, if someone is searching for coastal fish art from the Curve in Texas, God love them. But an art gallery is about discovering something unique and different and saying, I've got to have it. When you put something everywhere around, it diminishes the value. And now, don't get me wrong. I understand why you do it because you're thinking like, well, I want to mix it up. But think about it if you were buying T-shirts. Well, there's some T-shirts over here, and there's T-shirts over here, and then we got a T-shirt over here. You'd be like, "Where the hell's with the T-shirts?" Because you couldn't really focus. And so what you do is you stop looking at T-shirts, and you're just kind of like, "Well, I just came in for jeans. Where's the jean department?" And so I think the same with you is that we can focus down. I just want to get the frame. I just want to do this and get out instead of spend time. So you can put the video back on. Mo, what do you have to ask? Facebook viewers, jump in. Don't just sit there like a lump.
I
Tell me
don't
what
like
you're
the
thinking.
lighting at all. The lighting's got to be improved by a bunch. It's very dark. As soon as I go there and it's dark, I'm like, oh, do I want to spend $1,000, $1,200 on a picture frame job here? That I think that needs to be addressed too.
What were you going to say, Dinah or Betsy?
So one of my questions in terms of trying to organize the art that's on display is do you have any suggestions regarding? I've played around with grouping it by artist. I've grouping it by color.
No,
And that,
think
by
about it
the
in
way,
somebody's house. Think about it in somebody's house. Would somebody put all those different things together in a house?
Okay.
Think of it as rooms. Think of a breakfast room. What would you do in a breakfast room? And again, art, that's part of the problem with art is that it is hard. There's no two ways about it. The problem is the way you have this displayed, I can't get my bead on it. There's too much art on the wall. There's an awful lot of turquoise there, from the hanging turtle to the wave to something underneath the fish. And yet you've got these little buckets of prints which look like they're probably 5 or 10 cents or maybe $1, and it's really hard to understand what I'm looking at there. I think if we were to, yeah, too cluttered, less is more, exactly, Facebook users. I think that all the spotlights also from the 70s, you know, there's so many more ways and more interest that you can do it, but less is more. Needs half as much merch on the wall. I don't think that's a becoming picture background for anything. It draws too much. It's like somebody said, your shirt is talking so loud I can't hear you, and that's kind of it. This kind of a purplish.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and then you can say, all right, so for 3 weeks, you know, we're going to do something around native fauna and flora. I don't know. Yeah, I understand that, Randy. I think you'd have to play with it because this art is so specific that it seems to me if you took that one on the top right and you took the one down below and you took the other with the turtle and you put them all together, I think you start looking like it's pastiche, like it's something that I would get if I was at Target, because that's how Target puts it together. So, you know, make a grouping. You know, don't be afraid of taking Dinah's art and then putting those little, that's other artists. What are those things? Fish? Is it turtles? Is it cats?
Most of Dinah's work is fish and turtles. In that picture right there, there's the orange piece in the middle is actually a fiber art by another artist. And on the left,
no, I mean I apologize. The one on the desks here, the 3 that you said you scattered around with the fish.
Those are bronze. Those are bronzes, and I've got 3 more sitting on the bookcases, which would be opposite of the wall that you're looking at right now.
What are they? Are they of what?
Bronze fish and crabs, and then I also have some doves.
Yeah, so if I was going to build a display, I would take that picture in the top right, for example, and then I would have. And by the way, if you don't know Uline, you should all know that Uline is, you can get those little plexi risers, and you want to get a set of like 6 and 12 inches, and you want them like 6 inches wide and smaller, and you need to have at least 3 heights for somebody to consider them. But everything on the same plane, deadly. The colors, absolutely. The colors should flow together. I think certainly that's great. The principles of color, but also the frames have to be. And I would defer to you, Mo. You guys all know more about this. I'm just saying, as a customer, I would be overwhelmed. It's like somebody threw up art in this room. I'm out.
Yeah, I personally think it's too much art. You know, I also have a comment about the counter, if you don't mind. I want to go back here where we go in. I find a lot of shops who have a meh counter, right? People bring in stuff they bought for $5,000-$6,000 and they put on a counter. Go ahead, Betsy.
I was going to say the counter needs to be redesigned. I'm finding some weaknesses in it in the last couple of weeks that we need to do something different with that counter.
Yeah,
Move it for starters. But yeah,
I like counters. When a customer comes in and they put this $5,000 piece of art on it, I want a $5,000 counter, so it deserves it. Some shops put in carpet. I can't tell what this is. I want them. What is?
It's worn carpet.
It is. See, yeah. See, imagine if this was granite or something really pretty. I have this aluminum clad looking table that I got really cheap from Home Depot, and I put it, and they come in and they put the art and they touch it. They say, "Oh, what is this?" There you go. I got their attention. I like counters to be really fancy because this is what I'll be looking at with them for the next 20 minutes. I want that stuff to be really fine. So they spend their money, take out their wallet, then they spend the extra $1,000, extra $100 when I have the nice counter.
Agreed. Tom's asking, are the corner samples directly accessible to customers? Can they take samples off the wall and walk around the design table? Is that
Yeah.
yes?
I
Do
like
you
that.
sell all those frames?
We do. I'm trying to. I've been pulling out the lower sellers or the ones we haven't sold in a couple of years to make room for the new releases for this year.
You could probably get rid of over half of those.
Yeah, there was a research shared by one of our big vendors, Larson Jewel, and they said you can get more than half out, and still people don't lose interest. It was really interesting to do that. Okay, so I think we're at the end of this. Bob, how could people reach you, and how could they find out more about you?
Well, wait, before you get to there. So does this give you some ideas, Dinah and Betsy?
It does, but I just have one concern. I know you suggested putting the windows back in the front of the building where the traditional entrance used to be. Unfortunately, and as I rotate this very slowly so you can see what it
Thank
looks
you
like
for that.
now, unfortunately, that's the main
CO2.
gallery wall. And so
Hold on, let me
if-
switch over to you.
If we were
Yeah.
to put windows there, I lose all of that display space.
But we
Well,
can
you could
make-
you could also put up some half walls that are, floor to ceiling that are like 2 feet, and it just makes that space probably kind of small. So that'd be a concern. Remind me, why is there nothing on the walls right today? Is that because you're painting it or something?
We just replaced the windows on the east
On the
side.
other side, right.
Yep. And so we repainted, and I was waiting to visit with you before I put anything back up on that wall.
Good for you. Well, that color already looks better. The one thing you want to always be thinking of here is, what do you want them to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's no different from when they're out there driving by it to when they walk in. What do you want me to do? If I walk in and there's mostly picture framing, and then you kind of have some other art kind of thrown over here, you didn't really take the time to think of my journey. And my guess is the framing probably could go even to the left and make a whole wall with that, because as we walk into stores in North America, we go in and we turn to the right. That's where your best and brightest has to be.
So,
But for you, that middle door is going to be your best and brightest. Go ahead.
If I go to the left, that is my workroom. So that's off limits to customers behind me. And then we've got one more display case that's to the left of the door. So that's what we're looking at in terms of.
Well, if it was me, I would make you push the stuff that you had on the far left over to the right, and I would make you maybe put that counter all the way over there, because that's going to be closer to your workroom anyway, and think about ways to play around with it. So what did you get out of our conversation today?
What I got out of it today was I really appreciated having a completely fresh perspective on this.
Yes.
Because
We're too close to it.
we're too close to it. Dinah will tell you she's been here for 41 years. I've been here for 3.5. I've known Dinah for 15 years. I was in this shop before it got converted to what it is now. And so I kind of know what it used to be, but you still get your head stuck in, this is the way it's been and we're doing okay. But I appreciate having this new perspective, because I know we need to be making some changes in order to carry us forward.
Excellent. And if you're going to have things hanging from the window, then have a small fan that moves them, because that's why you have I don't have mine. I'd have to turn mine. Oh, I have my green screen. I was going to show I have a big mobile over my head, but I've got my green screen on today. But we should see it moving, and everything. To Mo's point, again, look at the lighting. It's a lot of things. We're talking about. I would still start. Actually, I would start with the middle of your store when I walk in that door. I agree with Julie, who said put the door back in the middle in the front. The problem with that is, now they're gonna park on the side, and they're gonna have to walk around all the way to the front. Right. Nobody's gonna want to do that, because it's a 35-mile-an-hour road, especially if you're carrying artwork. So that's not a complete idea either. But I encourage you to start with the middle of the store and clear all that stuff out, just like you did to redo the windows. Clear it all out and say, okay, for this 10 feet in the store, floor to ceiling, what do we want them to look? how are we going to have these different levels? How are we going to make it interesting and focused and curated, and understand that only stays there for 3 weeks, and we're going to change it out to something else, so that if nothing else, you don't feel like, yeah, well, we've been here forever and it looks like forever. And then from that, I would, once you get the middle of the store set, I would go back out to the outside and I would say, you know, how are we going to really set this off and really curate our one thing at the outside, which is to say, get your, it's a gallery, and it also, we can frame everything. And then I think once you do that, you can go through and have it easy. I like that idea too, Julie, you know, having the ability for customers to be able to watch you work. I think that's always fun. I know that framers hate that because you're an artist, and I want to be in my space. But.
Well, and we're a 1 to 2 person shop. So when a customer comes in, half the time the work in the back stops because we're that small of an operation.
But
so
even more reason for them to see you doing it. Because then you're like a chef and you're like, oh, well, I'm leaving this. Let me come work with you. And that's going to, you have nothing to apologize or feel, you know, like, well, we're really over here making cheap toys that can choke children. We don't want anyone to see that. It's like, no, you're framing art. And how fun is that? Oh, we have a Picasso, or we have this, you know, whoever it is up there. So I wish you well. We really appreciate you having a sense of fun with it. I know that so many times framers like to say, well, how would he know? He's not one of us. You don't want one of you.
Yeah.
Because you got here because you're one of you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know what you know. It's like, I don't hire other people like me. I hire the guy who's #1 in SEO. I hire the guy who's #1 in email campaigns. You know, there's a million other companies that I work with because I'm willing to say, I don't know this, fix me. And for your case, you're probably not going to hire me to do it. But, you know, if you're over $1 million worth of sales, you certainly should check me out. But at the end of the day, there's so much opportunity here for you. You've been in business for a long time. You know who your guy or gal is. There's a market for it. Be clever in having a clearance sale and get rid of a lot of that stuff. And if it's consignment stuff and it's not selling, my guess is, you know, if it's not selling in that first 6 weeks, why is it still there? Just because you know the artist doesn't necessarily mean it could. So if you like what we have to say today, you can certainly check me out at retaildoc.com or find me on Facebook as Retail Doctor. But make sure that you understand from that what Mo is providing here for Framers Only is this idea to have an open dialogue and to say, can we be better? And that's really what 2021 is all about, is saying, how can I be better? But so many of you contact me on my Facebook Lives I do every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, is you're just saying, just tell me where to look. And so that's what we've spent 42 minutes here doing today. And I hope it's been a value for you, Betsy and Dinah, and we'd love to see you, you know, what you're going to do with this in the next 6 months. Mo, I'll leave it to you.
There you go. So I put Bob's website right there. You guys check him out. He does his live website, Facebook stuff every Sunday, and I join it all the time. Really good stuff, and you learn a lot of stuff from him. Bob, we appreciate your time and appreciate.
Wait! You're going to do this again sometime, right? You got to get the audience ready, dude. You got it. You're doing your selling.
Who's up for February?
We will. We have people already trying to submit for. You have Dave already. He's trying to properly send in his stuff. So there will be more stuff hopefully coming in. We're going to try to do this at least once a month.
Excellent.
And I will say, as the person who submitted all of this, it was chaotic because we had construction going on at the time I submitted, but it took me 15 minutes to shoot the video, splice it together on something that's on my desktop, and submit it. And that's about all it took for me to put together my submission video.
And that's why I think you're going to be successful, because you're willing to just try it. You know, you were out of, we had, 15, 20 different people, and yours stood out because I said, she's interesting. She's interested. And ultimately, we might get somebody from a Chicago or a New York, and that might be a different market. But in your market, you can do so much more. And that's what I want you to hear. And thanks for joining us today, Dinah and Betsy. And Mo, thanks for having me. Remember, you're about as successful as you make your mind up to be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bob, thank you very much. Betsy, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mo. Bye.
Bye-bye.